Honey, we continue with Zohar from scratch. As we know in Zohar from scratch, we are not describing too much of the commentary of Rabbi Yehuda Ashlag. Even it's very tempting in this specific Pirush Pkuda Shviya, the seventh mitzvah, corresponding to the mitzvah of Brit Milah. A mitzvah Shvi'it, the seventh mitzvah, il imol l'shmona yamim. The Brit Milah need to happen in the 8 days. And of course, you're asking why 8? Why not 6? Why not 9? Ulavir zohamat aorla, to remove the dirt of the foreskin. Mishum, why? She'ota chaya, that animal, but chaya also corresponding to the word from the neshamot, from the lights going into the vessel, you have nefesh, ruach, neshama, chaya v'yechida. Where you have chaya is related to chokhmah. When you become chai, when you become alive, when you have tolada, when you give birth to something. A person who didn't give birth to anything yet is considered death. That's why, if you study the depth of Kabbalah about pregnancy, you have first the ibur, then leda, then mochin. The ibur is when the baby is in his mother womb, the rechem. What happened there? He doesn't have anything of his own, or she doesn't have anything of her own. It's just ubar, it's just a fetus within his mother womb. So we are talking about nefesh. When you have the more, ledain yenika, what we call breastfeeding, the mother has to take the baby up to tiferet for the yenika. Still, the baby is still ruach, but it doesn't have yet a tikkun for something. The mochin begin in the third level, but here is talking about chaya, and here is say she'ir malchut. For some reason he called the chaya malchut. Now we need to understand why. That's the 8th level. If you're counting from Bina, and why specifically Bina is for the same exact reason I just told you. The Neshama is in Bina, in the beginning of the Mochin, after the Nikah is in Bina, and that's why you're counting from Bina. That's the beginning. So Bina till Malchut, you have the 8. Now you know why it's 8 days. ואותה נפש העפה ממנה צריכה להראות לפניה ל8 ימים. And that nefesh that just build on, the mother built it in the 9 months of pregnancy, 271 days, which is exactly Gematria, numerically value of Erayon, Ale Resh Yudvav Nun, if you count the Gematria, is exactly 291, which is exactly 9 times 30, right? 271, I'm sorry. 9 times 30 plus the extra day, because within the 9 months there is always a month which is sometimes 29, 28, or 30, or 31. All right? So that's the 8th level. I will do something special here, and I will go for a Ashlag. פירוש שאין הנוקבה דזעיר אנפין, the female aspect of זעיר אנפין, between the manifestation of זעיר אנפין, נקראת חיה. It doesn't call חיה, זה לא יודע ליותר לשעת דבינה, until it go up to בינה, שהיא דרגת המניעה, which is, where is Bina if you count it from Malchut? 8. Now you know why it's the 8th day. And if you count it from below to above, it's 8, or Bina down, it's 8. ונקראת גם מלכות שהיא נוקבה, זה רמפין משם שמיני, כי עלתה 8 מדרגות. Why is the Malchut called the 8? Because it elevates to Bina, שממנה עד הבינה. ורק אז נקראת גם היא חיה כמו הבינה. And then Malchut will be called חיה, like the Bina. Okay? So it's a very important... to understand רב אשלג in this specific sense. מקרה שמינית צריכה להראות לפני הנוקבה עם התיקונים. They have to fix it when it's going up to the בינה. How you fix it? מילה ופריאה. Remove the circumcision and doing the פריאה. פריאה is an additional part in the Brit. There's 3 levels to the Brit. One called מילה, second called פריאה, third called מציצה. Okay? מציצת אדם, פריאה splitting, קליפת נוגה, and מילה is removing the 3 main קליפות. ואז נראה ונקרא בוודאי שהיא נפש באותה חיה הקדושה. Once you remove the covering, what we call foreskin, then you can actually truly reveal that thing or that malchut that was covered, it's actually like בינה, ולא מצד אחר. כי אז בכוח המילה והפריאה, through the מילה, ברית מילה, הפריאה, נדחס המחלף לגמרי. That's how you remove the dark side, מהי נפש אדם, from that נפש. והיא יכולה לקבל שלמות אורותיה של החיי. And then it receive light as if it's בינה, it's tremendous gift. ובזה מקבל את המים דוכן, אלא אין מזכר ונקבה משלם במים האלו. And then it's related to the מאמר בבראשית, ישרצו המים, נפש חיה. If you remember, the all mitzvot here is going based on the creation of Bereshit. So when it says ישרצו המים, let the water fill with, multiply with more babies, with more creatures. That's a מים דוכן. That's when it's דוכן, meaning male water, meaning it's coming from above to below. So I just want to make sure Rav Ashlag is included in that part. I'm continue to 224 without commentary. ואז נראה ודאי שהוא נפש חיה. Now when we do that, we can see the נפש is a livelihood, there's חיים, יש שם חיים, יש שם life. היינו נפש של אותה חיה קדושה שהיא מלכות. Now we know that נפש is not a regular נפש of anybody, because nefesh can be from the dark side, and nefesh can be from the right side. So by removing the covering, we realize this is a nefesh kedosha. Without removing the covering, you wouldn't know. ולא מצד האחר, וזהו ישרצו המים. That's a mitzvah of ישרצו המים, שפירש בספרו של חנוך, in the book of Enoch. We don't know exactly which book is the book of Enoch. I know there is a lot of English translation to the book of Enoch. I mean, Enoch became Matat, the kings of all the angels. התרשמו מזרע הקדוש, let the liquid of the seed, of the holy seed, ברושם של נפש חיה, with an impression of נפש חיה, וזהו הרושם שלו, אות י' הנשם בבשר קודש. What is exactly happened to the Brit? Before the Brit, it's nothing. It's basically, if you look at the eyes of people, you know, the eyes, nose and mouth, you see the letter Shin is here. You see that two eyes, nose and the mouth together is like the letter Shin. The yad of the person is the letter Dalet. So you have the arm with the bones coming out here. That's the Dalet. And the Brit Milah for a man is the letter Yud. And that's why if you remove the Shin Dalet without the Yud, it's become the name of demon in Hebrew. For that reason, before the Brit, the baby is considered not even a human. And after the Brit, it's very important for that reason to keep the baby always safe with the supervision of a father, mother, or somebody has to be in the room the whole time until the Brit. וזהו הרושם של אות י' ונרשם בבשר הקודש יותר מכל שאר רשימות העולם. And that impression is basically happening during the Brit. We continue. Highly recommended to people with Asaga who are capable to understand that, truly to read the Pirush, the commentary. If you feel you lost, I'm here to help with the study of this section in the Torah. I'm continuing 225, let's continue with the Brit. ואופי עופף על המים, על הארץ, I'm sorry, it say after that the birds will fly above the land. And of course, everything in Bereshit is corresponding to endless amount of opportunity of understanding our Torah. And what is that bird that fly above the land? זהו Eliyahu. This is Eliyahu. Which Eliyahu? Eliyahu Navi. Eliyahu the prophet. Well, why Eliyahu the prophet? Because we know that Eliyahu, they say, where is Eliyahu in Leil Seder? It's in all Sdarim. You go to all the Seder of Aramaic. How can it be Seder in LA, New York, Guatemala, and Bahamas? How can that be true while he's in Jerusalem? Well, it can be the speed of Eliyahu going from one place to another. It's not the way we understand, because in spirituality there is no real time, space, or there is no real motions. Everything is about Shinui Tzura. This affinity create distance, and so on and so on. זהו אליהו עף כל העולם בארבע עפיפות. אליהו fly in four flapping. Is it the word עפיפות? Flapping? No, flapping. How do you do flapping? No, wings is the כנפיים. Wings is the way to do it is כנפיים. See, I'm correcting an American person in English. Flapping. Afifot is flapping. La'uf is to fly, and wings is the tool you use to fly. Knafayim. Afifot is flapping. Be'arba afifot, meaning 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it can go from one place to each other, from Brit to Brit, or from Seder to Seder. Okay, but of course it doesn't mean flapping, physical flapping like we know it. There's a reason why they say specifically 4. Okay, because we talk about Dalet Sfirot of the Anpin, which is Tiferet Netzach Od Yesod. So there is a reason. כדי להיות שם באותה ברית מילה, הקדוש צריך לתקן לו כיסא. And you need to be in the Brit. What do you need to do for Eliyahu Navi? You have to fix a chair for him. למה? Why you have to fix a chair for him? מה זה הכיסא הזה? We know the word כיסא, as I heard it yesterday and today from Rabbi Michael Maor, כיסא comes from the word כיסוי. כיסוי. Everything is כיסוי, like when you take even kos. Kos Yeshua Tesai, you have the kos, it's Gibatria Elokim. It's also כיסוי. And then you lift it with 4 hands, which is revelation. So the mochin, Yud Kevavkei, the כיסויים is Elokim. So the whole idea of כיסוי has to come always before Gilui. You cannot have Gilui, Gilui being a revelation. You cannot have revelation without you have cover before. You cannot have inspiration before you have desperation. If you want to be successful and you're not consider being successful as equal as to breathing, you're never going to be successful because it's not part of your kisui, it's not part of what's covered for you. So we have to fix chair, כיסא for the word kisui, so we can be revealed, גילוי. להזכיר בפיו זה כיסא של אליהו. We have to say, this is the כיסא של אליהו. This is the chair. This is the kisui. This is the cover of Eliyahu that only Eliyahu can reveal that. Eliyahu Navi. ואם לא, אינו שורה שם. If you don't say, זה כיסא של אליהו נביא, אליהו נביא not arrive. So it's for the moel. Those of you know me, I always get closer to the Brit, to where the moel is, where the person does circumcision, where the chair is. Always there. Always there. And I teach my kids as well. I teach my students as well. Get closer as much as you can to the Brit. I mean, because getting closer to the Brit physically is getting closer to Eliyahu Navi. And also you can correct the moel. If you didn't say, זה כיסא של אליהו נביא זכו לטוב מלאך הברית, then you have to tell him, excuse me, moel, you forget to say this verse. If he get angry with you, it doesn't matter. You're not there to please him. You're here to make sure Eliyahu Navi will come to the room. And of course, there is a lot of explanation why Eliyahu, if you want to know, if you remember Eliyahu Navi saying, Kano kineti, I'm jealous with Z, or jealous, or כי עזבו בריתך בני ישראל. He come to complain to God about בני ישראל, אמר לו חייך, he complained about בני ישראל, they didn't do the Brit. God keep asking him, מה לך פה אליהו, what are you doing here? And Eliyahu was going and say, they הפרו בריתך, they didn't do the Brit anymore. And God keep asking, what's wrong with you? And here we learn something about Eliyahu Navi and Hashem. When you come to complain to Hashem about the Israelite, Hashem will not listen. It's a waste of time. He created that nation to bring the Mashiach. That's the mission. He created that nation to bring peace in the world. He created that nation to make the universe a better place to be. Your job is to help that nation to make it happen. Whatever support, whatever it is with money, words, food, motivation. Tell them, remind them, hey, you are here to do that job. What can I do for you to continue doing that job? You have to remind them. So Eliyahu Navi complained. And they say, Hashem said, okay, from now on, you're going to be the one who's going to be in every Brit, to be a witness in every Brit, that they actually do the Brit. And of course, the Zohar, and specifically Baal HaSulam, Rabbi Yehuda Ashlag mentioned, do not think that he has to be in the Brit because he was punished, because it's much deeper than that. Basically, Eliyahu Navi is such a secret here that we need to understand that what he does there is, whoever complain about another Jewish person, the dark side, the snake, is going after that person. It's because Eliyahu Navi was complaining, the snake said, wow, I got Eliyahu Navi on my side. So we let Eliyahu Navi being on the side of the dark side, but actually is a double agent. Because the dark side say, okay, Eliyahu Navi is here, I can leave. But Eliyahu Navi then do the whole transformation of doing bad into good. So I want to make sure it's important that we understand why Eliyahu Navi, we are actually, it's a gift. It's a gift that we're receiving there. So it's just to understand, as Rav Ashlag said, and I have to add that too, יש לו כוח להעיד גם כן שמקיימים הברית. If he's the one who say they didn't do the Brit, Eliyahu Navi has the power to say they're actually making it. And when Eliyahu Navi is saying it, after he was saying they not, then we have to accept it. Because if the dark side accepted that we not from him, then the dark side have to accept it that the same witness is actually saying they are. So now we got to listen. That's the beauty of inviting Eliyahu Navi. Okay? So here also Rav Ashlag said, כיסא, תחילת התיקון להשראת העליון. Is always a tikkun. It's like a vessel. Before light come down, you have to have kisui. Because the kisui, the kiseh, the chair, the kos, is all about dwelling the light somewhere. So that's why you have to have the kisui. Yeah. And just to remember, Eliyahu is not happy to give a piece of the orla because it seemed like the orla, the foreskin, has been given to the dark side. Eliyahu Navi is not happy with that we even giving anything, just because the dark side will leave us alone. So he even tell us the biggest mitzvah in the Brit is to bury the orla. He says some community don't do that. So you have the circumcision, the priya, the metzitza, and the burial. You know, you got to focus on the burial as well. The burial of the orla is a very, very important to do as well. So we continue. Vayivra Elokim et hataninim. It say after that in Bereshit that God created the crocodiles or the big giant fish within the river. Taninim hem shnayim. We don't call one crocodile. We say two, at least two. Shnayim crocodiles. Ve'elu hem, what are the crocodile? Orla ve'pri'a. What is we call crocodile? What's the code word? Orla, the removing of the orla, the foreskin, ve'pri'a, and the splitting. דהיינו כריתת העורלה ואחר כך פריאה. והם זכר ונקבה. We talk about male and female. ואת כל נפש החיה רומסת, and we'll continue the pasuk in Bereshit, and all the נפש חיה meaning livelihood, נפש הרומסת, that walking. Again, remember, that it's only code that Rav Ashlag is helping us to understand Bereshit in the right way. So נפש חיה רומסת, nefesh mean nefesh, like a level of soul. Chaya mean an animal or a livelihood. Aromeset, the dwell. What is Rav Ashlag is helping us? Zehu haroshem shel od brit kodesh. So this is nothing to do with the story of Bereshit. Even in Midrash yotze midei pshuto, it has something to do, but it's not the secret meaning. It's the roshem, the impression of the brit kodesh, of the holy brit. What is the impression? שהוא נפש חיה קדושה. The impression of נפש חיה קדושה, כמו שאמרנו ששרצו המים העליונים של כל הדעות ראש מזה. The light that comes from above is the impression that it leave on the Brit. Now you know why the Brit is one of the most important event you have to go to when you've been invited. You never skip a Brit. Brit is like being, as Dari said, 40 days of fasting. That's how powerful the Brit is. It can remove any negativity. Okay? So it's quite important. ומשום זה נרשמו ישראל, that's why the Israelite, the Jewish people, ברושם קדוש וטהור למטה, have to have this impression of ברית מילה. ברית מילה. People seeing that I'm using the word Israelite and Jewish at the same time need to explain to you what is the Jewish. Well, physically it means that the mother is Jewish. If the mother is Jewish, her mother is Jewish, her grandmother is Jewish, all the way to Mount Sinai. Those people were chosen to do the 613 mitzvot, and they are on a mission here. It's a spiritual mission. It's also a spiritual mission, easy way, like we have a lot of spirituality in the world right now. Meditation, sitting on the beach in Malibu, some yoga, stretching, people call spirituality to everything else besides going to work, But spirituality has rules, and it's rough and tough rules. And the people who chose to apply those rules in Mount Sinai were the Jewish. That rules was given to all the nation. Let's say if you have 7.2 billion people in the world, so God gave that rules to everybody. And everybody said, well, let me look into it. Maybe I'll call you later. The Jewish people were the only one to say, Naaseh v'nishma. We will do, and then we will listen. So it's kind of interesting. So the seed, meaning the people who are born from that generation, are called Jewish. Those are the Jewish people, because the Israelite, you call them till Mount Sinai. From Mount Sinai, they're called the Jew. So you need to know the difference between that two groups. Israelite is the children of Israel. Israel was Jacob. So they left all the way to Mount Sinai. From Mount Sinai, you start talking about Judaism. Judaism, Judah. Start talking about Judaism. So you need to understand that the Jewish people have to do all those mitzvot, 613 mitzvot. If a person decides to convert to Judaism, then he has to apply she or he has to apply those mitzvot. You cannot just convert and do, I'm not into Shabbat and kosher, then you're not Jewish. Because if you convert and you apply those mitzvot, then you're Jewish. So not going to mikveh or doing some meditation or pray with a Jew make you Jewish. No, it doesn't. It just make you a person who applies some of the mitzvot. So we need to remember that, because I think a lot of my students have confusion about who is Jewish and who is not. And the next mitzvah will be actually about conversion. We're going to talk about it next time. So, כמו שהרשימות הראשונות שמלמעלה הם כדי להכיר בין צד כזה לצד אחר, the same thing that the Israelite have the Brit is the same thing that in the upper world they also know the difference between one and another. כך ישראל רשומים כדי להכיר בקדושת ישראל העמים עקום. Now you know the difference between the Israelite and people who worship stars and sign of the zodiac. According to Talmud, Masechet Shabbos, it say that it's okay to do astrology, but you cannot worship astrology. It's okay to believe in some prediction of what's going to happen, but you cannot worship it 100% of the time. When people ask me about astrology, I use it as a tool for communication, as a tool for understanding the chart and knowing what's coming. But you have to be careful. You cannot worship it as that's God. It's like in a red heifer. Is the red heifer really purification for death? No. God commands that the red heifer with purification of death become the magic, not the red heifer itself. Okay? The command. And we learn it from Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai in the Gemara. כמו שלמדנו, כמו שרשם את ישראל, so the same thing that the Bnei Israel have the Brit, that's what makes them different than the Amim. What else makes different the Israelite from other nation is the mezuzah on the door. What else? Shabbat, very good. Kosher, everything about what they do is splitting. Bnei Israel doing splitting all the time, splitting the foreskin from the body, splitting the front door from the room, splitting Shabbat from the days of the week. Allah Avdil, because that's called Tzimtzum Beh. Splitting between kosher animal to not kosher animal. Everything is about splitting. A split hoof, splitting. Two luchot Brit, to the two tablets. Always Tzimtzum Beh. I cannot go into depth of it, but it's a tremendous avana. So, כך רשם את הבהמות והעופות שלהם. That's how we sign their animals and the chicken and what they eat. It have to be kosher. If you don't eat kosher, you don't keep Shabbat, and you convert to Judaism, you're not a Jew. Jewish people have a mission. That's why everybody hates them. What's the nation that's been hated the most? The most from all people. Is it African American? No, it's not. Is it Spanish? No, it's not. Is it Muslim? No. Jewish. Jewish been hated by all nations all the time. Now you can say they did something wrong. No, they didn't do something good. They need to be hated by all nations. That's until the other nation will wake up. Because within the nation, you also have split. You have the nation that are for the Jew, and you have the nation that are against the Jew. The external nation are always will be against the Jew. The internal nation or pnimi, always be for the Jew. So anti-Semitism will always be created by the external. What's defined that? When the Jew, if you force the Jewish people to study Kabbalah and Zohar, it will be peace in the world. How do we know that? Because then the external nation will not try to create war. Always the external nation want to create war. And the internal nation, that's what Rav Ashlag said, I want to create peace. When the Jewish people study Kabbalah, more Zohar, more Kabbalah, more depth, okay, tell people to go study my stuff. If they're Jewish and they're able to understand this, if you have a rabbi in town, beg them to study my stuff. Then we bring peace in the world. So people try to say, what are going to do with Putin and Ukraine and the war? There's nothing you can do. Yes, you can give some Zohar there and Tikkun Zohar, like books. It's good. It's good to spread the books there. It gives something. It's like believing in the sign of the zodiac. Maximum you can do 20% with that. But really to do something with that is to study. It's not just to give the book. You got to study this knowledge. And now it's free on vitaltransformation.org, free. You can go on Sapphire, even find my stuff free. You cannot come with an excuse why you cannot study. Study. Take some time to study. So that's why the animals are different. Good for the Israel and that they are chosen by God. We should be appreciated if you are Israelite, that you're chosen by God to do this job. And what I want to recommend, those of you who have in mind to convert, first make sure that you're ready to commit before you convert, because if you just convert for the title, you don't have to do all of those things. Thank you. See you next time.